prayed and we asked, and she agreed. So we're going to invite Jen to come up and give a testimony. And if she takes the last part of the service, I don't get to preach. It's okay. I have something ready, but at the same time, I think God is going to speak to our hearts this morning. And let's just be ready to receive a word from God to hear from Jennifer this morning. Thank you, Jen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When Pastor Andrew asked me if I'd be willing to give a tribute to mothers on Mother's Day by speaking of my own mom, I said I'd welcome the chance to honor her, even if it's out of my comfort zone to stand up here today. Many of you know my story, many of you don't. But I believe the story of my mom's simple, childlike faith, as she liked to call it, is one that deserves to be told. I was born in the north of England into a very loving family. My parents were both only children, and my mom's parents lived in the adjoining house, so it was a very close and compact unit. Our lives changed dramatically when I was 10, as my father died very suddenly, and Mom was left to care for her 10 and 13-year-old daughters and 12 male university students who boarded with us. Mom tried to hold things together for my sister and I, but I remember coming into the kitchen and seeing her with tears streaming down her face, washing socks in the sink, and rubbing until her knuckles bled as she dealt with her grief. When we're faced with trials in life, we had many options. Mom chose to turn to the Lord for his wisdom and guidance on what to do next. A friend of hers from years before had emigrated to Canada, and they had kept in touch, mainly through Christmas cards. When he heard of Mom's situation, he wrote and offered for her to come to Canada with her 2 daughters for a visit and to stay as long as she wished. In England at that time, there was a strong promotion for emigration to Canada, and people started saying to Mom, well, if you go to Canada, you won't want to come back. That got Mom thinking, what do I have to come back for? Her mom had passed away 2 years before my dad, and her dad had remarried, so there really was just the 3 of us. Mom asked for God's guidance in this huge decision. She asked him to leave the door open if this was the direction he wanted her to take, to leave everything she knew and start a new life in her 50s with her 2 children in a new country across the ocean. She asked the Lord to close the door very definitely if this was not his best will for her. We 3 went to see a film about immigrating to Canada, and it was very exciting for Sue and I. We lived in a large city of Leeds, probably comparable to Toronto in size, and Mom called to make an appointment with an immigration officer. He said, so Mrs. Spivey, you're thinking of emigrating to Canada. Are you planning to settle in Toronto or Vancouver? No, I was thinking of going to New Brunswick. New Brunswick? Why would you plan to go there? Well, the only person we know in Canada who's invited us to come lives there. And whereabouts in New Brunswick are you planning to settle? You've probably never heard of it, a little place called Skiff Lake, which is up towards Woodstock. And who do you know at Skiff Lake? Well, Bill Crosby is my friend's name. Well, Mrs. Spivey, I've not only been to New Brunswick, I've visited Skiff Lake, and I've been fishing with Bill Crosby. It's the most beautiful place in the world. Mom didn't think it was a coincidence that of all the immigration officers she could have met with, she talked with the one who met the only person we knew in Canada. She took it as an open door from the Lord. So we were going. Now she had the huge task of selling the properties we owned and deciding what to pack. I remember crying because I couldn't bring all my dolls. And Mom explained she had to leave behind a sewing machine that her mom had given her on her 11th birthday. So sacrifices had to be made. Finally, the day of departure arrived and we set sail June 15th, 1960, with 21 pieces of luggage on board, including our cat. Mom felt very strongly against vaccination. She had some run-ins with the medical profession, and she did not want to be vaccinated, nor did she want us to. So she checked into it and found out that as long as we agreed to be quarantined for 14 days on our arrival, we didn't have to be vaccinated. So we were all prepared for this, and as we passed through customs, the officer said, vaccination certificate? In Montreal, my mom, who's only 5 foot, said, we don't have any because we refuse to be vaccinated. We said, you refuse? Yes, we refuse. Oh. And he snapped our tickets and off we went. The only thing was that Mom escaped, but Sue and I had to be vaccinated to go to school, so it was a little different from what she told. What a huge step to take. It's only since having my own children and passing the age that Mom was then that I've realized what faith it took to put her hand in the hand of her Heavenly Father and let Him lead her to a new life in a new land. There were challenges in this new land, but Mom asked in faith, and the Lord provided. An employer drove 60 miles from Fredericton to Skip Lake to offer Mom a job in his business college. And Mom ended up with 3 jobs that first year to care for her little family. She even did a term of being Lord Beaverbrook's private secretary during one of his stays in Fredericton. As you can imagine, these experiences drew us very close together as a family, and throughout her life, Mom was one of my closest and dearest friends. She was my champion, and I could always depend on her unconditional love, her wise advice, and her offer to help whenever needed. She provided me with a role model of what God could accomplish through an ordinary woman who had an extraordinary faith in God. When the end of her life was drawing near, I watched her lay in a hospital bed, and I felt the agony of what life would be like without her, and wondered how I could possibly cope. The next night was my turn to stay with her. She had a good day, and her eyes were twinkling as she joked about being a perfect patient. I had the opportunity to tell her what a wonderful mom she'd been and how much I loved her. All of a sudden, the end came, and as I held her and watched, I was extremely conscious of her spirit leaving her body, and as she rested on my shoulder for a few seconds, I was aware of her strength being imparted to me before her spirit gently lifted upwards. The next morning, the Lord also allowed me to see a vision of the expression of utter joy and amazement on Mom's face as she gazed on the face of Jesus for the very first time. I felt extremely privileged, as though for a few seconds I'd been allowed to glimpse beyond the shadow of death. What I experienced that night was such a special gift, a gift from the Lord to help me cope with her death, and a last special gift from Mom of her strength and her absolute faith in God. What I had no way of knowing was that I would need that strength of hers to cope with becoming a widow myself just 9 years later. I learned that death can be faced with courage as we journey to the place that He's gone out to prepare for us. If someone tells me I'm like my mom, I take it as a wonderful compliment. There's no one on earth I'd rather pattern my life after than the legacy of love and faith she left with us. You might take all you can.
We don't get to choose our mothers. Now, if you've had a gift, a mother like Jen has had, then praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Not all of us have had mothers like my mom. You should watch this video later. Or like Jen's mom. And so in those situations, we have to tell ourselves, I may not get to choose who my mother was, and maybe she was really mean or whatever she was, but we can choose, if you're a lady, mom you're going to be. The ideal from Proverbs 31 that Anne read is so beautiful. It's the noble idea. It's actually the unattainable ideal of what a woman should be. I mean, she's up all night, and then she's up really early, and she gets no sleep, but she's still not cranky. Really? Okay, nice. Not realistic. But it's a goal. It's an aim. It's this desire to serve and love others. And we got this little sign on our sign. Yes, we have a little saying on our signs, what I should have said, that mothers are a snapshot of God's love. I'm just going to take a few little parts of Proverbs 31 and just talk what some of the snapshots are. And the first snapshot, which is slide 3, is that they're providers. They're provisionaries. Our mothers, they take care of us. When we're babies like this little fella here, we can't provide ourselves. We can't even feed ourselves, let alone change our own bum. Our moms provide for us. You know, this verse 21 talked about our children are clothed in scarlet. You know, throughout the whole Bible, the meta story, from Genesis to Revelation, there's something called the scarlet thread. It's beautiful. It's the blood of Jesus Christ. And it goes all the way from Genesis, all the way into Revelation. I've got a book on it in my office if you want to borrow it. But her children are clothed in scarlet. She lives her life in such a way. She shows her children the glory of God. And makes her children say, I want what she has. I see that God made a difference. Children are clothed in scarlet. She's showing her children how to come under the blood of Jesus Christ, under His righteousness. Verse 20 talks about her having open arms and open hearts. She provides not only for her children, but there's this talk about servants in her home, other people that may be less fortunate, and she has this attitude of providing not just for her own family, but for anyone she comes in contact with. And we recognize that God is the same way. He provides righteousness for His children, and His hands are spread wide, and His heart is open for anyone. No matter the socioeconomic situation, ethnic situation, doesn't matter. God wants to provide. Second snapshot is that she brings good, not bad. And this image of my mom bringing pie. It's such a wonderful, it's like an encouragement cake, except it's pie. She brings good, not bad, all the days of her life, was verse 12. Doesn't that sound like God? Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans that I have for you. For good, not for evil. In the Psalm 23, I'll dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Right? There's this wonderful place of being in the presence of your mom when your mom loves you. There's this wonderful place of being with God when you understand that God loves you. You know, we look at the clothes that the mother wears. Right? Verse 25 talks about her wearing purple. It was the color of royalty, the color of the priests. She exemplifies God's love. She exemplifies the authority of God. Even Jesus was submitted to the Father, and it did not make Him less. I'm not going to go to the Ephesians passage, but there's this beauty of a partnered husband and wife, team working together, respecting one another in the roles that God has called them to be in, of loving and sharing responsibility for raising children and exemplifying who God is. You see, mom, when you understand that you're a daughter of the King, and you act like a princess of God, a queen, I don't mean lording over your children. I'm the boss! No, it's not what I mean. You gotta listen to me. No. But there's this element of Christ-given authority. Verse 30 talks about a mom that fears the Lord. There's something absolutely beautiful. When I wake up and I know my mom prays for me, when I know that the mother of my children is praying for me, wow, I could face a million. We men, when we were created in the garden, there's Adam. It's the only time in creation, all of creation, God says, it is not good that man be alone. Look at this guy. He's a bumbling fool. He can't even name the animals. We need to get this guy a helpmate quick. You know, there is an element of salvation in that term helpmate. It's that root word sozo. I won't get all that stuff. But I know that when the woman was taken from the rib, it was because the rib guards the heart. Right? And I know my wife guards my heart. She protects me in different ways. And we need our wives, we need our moms, and we need to encourage those who are mothering us to have the freedom to do so. The other snapshot, our last little snapshot, is that God fills our hearts with joy. I like that in verse 28. The children wake up and they're blessing their mom. You know, her husband blesses her name. Now, we know that's not reality all the time. I'm sure every husband is right going, wow, look at you with your makeup on. This is great. No, just kidding. But the idea is they wake up with joy and they bless their mother's name because they know their mom is solid. They know their mom is responsible. They know their moms can be there. We recognize that some of the situations we deal with in our community, it's not always the case. So the church, our moms here, we need to rise up and we need to be moms. We need to be dads too, to our other families in our area. When I read this, I also thought of that. Anyone here seen the movie Sister Act? The movie Goldberg back in the day? What did she tell the little redheaded nun? She said, you know, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing in your mind is singing, wanting to sing, then you're meant to be a singer. You know, if you wake up in the morning and your mom has had such a huge impact on you that you wake up blessing her name, wow, that's pretty amazing. Even if it's 10 minutes after you've had your coffee and you think about your mom, that's still amazing. It's because of her works. It's because of the way she loves us. It's because of the way that she brings us the apple pies, or the way that she takes her grandchildren to Wizard of Oz plays. Those kinds of things. It's the way I saw Sandra supporting Margot for that play. Oh, that was beautiful. The way we partner together. You know, God as well, when we wake up, think about His mighty works in our lives. The fact that He has given us breath, He's given us this day to love others, to love our moms. It's sad for our nation that we have to make a special day to say thanks to our moms. And yet, it's good that we do it. It's easy to forget. It's easy to take for granted when something good is in your life. Like air. Well, I'm glad I can breathe. But we need our moms. And we need to be thankful for them. And even though our moms fill us with joy, it doesn't mean that there's no discipline. You could always tell the discipline train was on its way when I hear, Ronald! Aaron! No, Andrew! It's like, oh, she got my name wrong twice. That's not good. You knew. You were in trouble. If we had a family of 12, probably every other name except for mine. But God disciplines those He loves. Parents discipline their children because they love them. Because they recognize that if I don't do something now, this person, when my child goes to get married, they're not even going to get married. They're not going to survive the dating scene. Parents bring discipline to their children because they love them. God brings discipline to His church because He loves us. Judgment begins in the house of the Lord. In fact, Ezekiel 22:30 says, God was upset because He was bringing judgment to Israel. The walls were knocked down, and He was upset because there was no one to stand in the gap. He wanted someone to be there, but He knew there wasn't, and He had to bring discipline. Snapshots of God for mothers. There's more. But when I think of the greatest thing is where parents and where our mom just plain doesn't stop loving us. And that's how God is too. In conclusion, I'm going to read a quote from Max Lucado, and it says this: when you are in the final days of your life, what will you want? Will you hug that college degree in the walnut frame? Will you be asked to be carried to the garage so you can sit in your car? Will you find comfort in rereading your financial statement? Of course not. What will matter then will be people. If relationships will matter most then, shouldn't they matter most now? Yeah. If your relationship with your mom isn't great, well, we're going to pray about that. If your mom has passed on, well, we can remember with grace your mom. And if you have your mom now, well, make time today for your mom. And really love her. She will love you back unconditionally. And sometimes if you're an adult, your parents need your permission to be in your life. Let's pray. God, we thank you for the snapshot of your love from our mothers. I thank you, Lord, that my wife is a living example of your love. The way she loves on my children, the way she loves on me. Lord, I thank you for my own mother and the way that she has loved on my brother and I. And Lord, I thank you for all the mothers that are represented here, that, Lord, were faithful witness and testimony to your love. Well, God, right now I just pray for those moms who aren't following you, that are represented by the children here. And God, I ask that you'd send your spirit of conviction, that, Lord, you release them into a relationship with you, that, Lord, you break into their lives and help them, Lord, to come to a relationship with you so that they can be that snapshot of God's love in their children's life. Lord, I pray for those situations where there's strained relationships. God, give us as children the wisdom to know how to respond to our parents, whether it be us forgiving them, whether it be us doing whatever you tell us to, God. Lord, we just pray for restoration of relationships as well. God, we give you praise, and we thank you for those godly women who have gone on before us. And we thank you that they are dancing and celebrating before your throne. And that mighty God, you've just given us such wonderful gifts. So Lord, as we praise your name, Lord, as we worship your name, as we give you praise,